Every time you park, service, or maintain a piece of work equipment machinery, it's important to reduce the risk of injury to yourself or other personnel, as well as any potential damage to the environment. As a result, CN implemented the LockOut TagOut policy to protect employees working on or around machinery or equipment. This safety policy also complies with Canada's occupational safety and health regulations, as well as the regulations of the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration. As you'll see in this presentation, LockOut TagOut is basic common sense, a fail-safe procedure that provides protection from accidental or unexpected startup or activation of equipment. Lockout protects people when you're servicing or repairing machinery, as well as anyone working near the equipment. Remember, though, the lock leaves with you. TagOut, however, protects equipment and the environment from accidental damage. Tags can remain with the machine. There are 3 easy-to-remember steps for locking out a machine. 1. Shut down the equipment and release all forms of potential energy stored in the machine. 2. Physically lock out all forms of potential hazardous energy to protect against startup or any activation of working components. 3. Verify that no hazardous energy is present by testing all controls, switches, and levers. In some situations, you may have to interrupt a lockout in order to troubleshoot or test a machine. And in an emergency, remove someone else's lockout device because they are not available to remove it. You should lock out a machine anytime there is a risk that you or any other personnel might place any body part in contact with or in the line of fire of operating components, remove a guard or safety device to conduct repair or maintenance to a machine, be exposed to any hazards that could result in injury while performing any work on a machine. If you're not sure about the correct shutdown and lockout procedure, check the manufacturer's operator's manual or consult with a qualified employee. Before you shut down a machine, immobilize all attachments by resting them on their locks or lowering them to the ground on blocks if necessary. Shut down the machine using the normal shutdown procedure. Then apply the parking brake and confirm operation, or place wheel chocks if the work on the machine will require that the brakes be released. Prior to locking out a machine, first you must confirm the release of any stored residual energy by operating levers, controls, or attempting to start the machine. The type of energy that can be stored includes mechanical, such as springs or rotating mechanics, hydraulic, such as moving or residual fluids, pneumatic, such as compressed air, electrical, such as batteries or capacitors, gravity, such as any attachments that could drop or roll, and heat, such as hot engine coolant or hydraulic fluids. Next, inspect the machine to ensure all attachments are still resting on mechanical locks or blocks, and brace any components that could fall due to gravity. Also, bleed or shut off any systems that can supply or store residual energy, such as hydraulic accumulators, air reservoirs, and batteries. Now you can apply your lock and identification tag to any energy lockout or isolating device, such as a battery switch, lock pin, or cab door. Remember to remove the key, and it must stay with you. If the type of work to be done on the machine may involve more than one operator or mechanic, apply a multi-lock hasp clamp. Finally, verify that all energy sources are locked out by trying to start the machine and by moving all levers or controls, ensuring that no one working on or near the machine can be injured. Always perform a job briefing with all employees in the affected area to notify them that the machine is locked out. Your lock and tag must be removed before you leave the job. The operator or anyone responsible for the machine must be notified when the work is finished and the lockout has been cleared. Before the machine is re-energized, you must inspect the work area to ensure that all personnel are clear, non-essential items have been removed, and components are operationally intact. You tag out a machine when you must leave it before repairs are completed, when it will be left inoperable, or when an unsafe condition is present and there is no possible harm to personnel. The main difference between lockout and tagout is that a lock protects personnel while a tag protects a machine that is bad order or under repair from being damaged by accidental startup or operation. It also protects the environment from accidental spills of hazardous machine fluids. Once you have shut down the machine and verified that residual energy stored in workheads or powered mechanisms has been released, secure a tag indicating "Do not start" or "Do not operate" on the battery switch or any location that will prevent the machine from being started. When you tag out a machine, you must also explain why in the machine's logbook, so that other operators or mechanics can finish the necessary repairs if you are unable to complete them yourself. Normally, if you tagged a machine, you should complete the necessary repairs using lockout procedures. Then remove your tag and sign off the repairs in the logbook. You can, however, remove someone else's tag if the employee who applied it is not available to remove it, providing you first read in the equipment logbook why the tag was applied, do a walk-around inspection to make sure there are no other hazards, and lock out the machine and complete the repairs that prompted the tag out in the first place. In special circumstances where you must temporarily remove a lock or tag to test or troubleshoot a machine, these steps must be followed. Ensure that the machine or equipment is operationally sound and intact. Perform a job briefing with all employees involved with the work or who will be working in the area. Clear the machine and equipment of tools and materials. Set the parking brake on the equipment and test operation. Identify the location of the emergency shutdown and test operation. Remove locks or tags from any temporary de-energization devices. Identify all potential hazards and notify all affected employees. As always, never place your body in a situation that could risk an injury. Do the test or troubleshooting, and when you're finished, de-energize all equipment and lock out the machine as required. Follow the usual lockout procedure to ensure all equipment is secured if the work continues. If the employee who applied the lockout is not available to remove it, you can remove their lock, but only under the following circumstances. The emergency removal is done under the direction of the foreman or supervisor. You verify that the employee that applied the lock is not on site. You try to contact the original employee that applied the lock or tag to inform them that you are removing it, and the employee that installed the lock or tag is made aware of the emergency removal before they resume work on that machine. By carefully following the correct lockout or tagout procedure, you can control all hazardous energy sources when maintaining or servicing equipment or machinery, eliminating the risks of injury or harm to you and other personnel, and any damage to equipment or the environment. Remember, locks protect life, while tags protect equipment, the environment, and property.